Looks in focus to me. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in again for another episode of Sawyer-san's Magic Ride. This week, so much great response to last week's video, The State of the Ride. But first, of course, we have to get into this week's weekly update. So as you might have been able to tell already, I got a haircut. Again. First time in like the last 3 months? Anyway, I got a haircut today. That was pretty much the highlight of my week. Until spring or summer really hits around here, it's gonna be pretty lame on the channel, not gonna lie. Once the weather starts warming up, I can start getting out and filming again. Hang on another couple months and then we'll be back in sunny weather and then I'll be able to shoot things. Alright, so without further pretense or ado, let's get into this week's questions, comments, and snide remarks, the part of the show where I respond to all of your Facebook comments and YouTube comments left on the post from last week's video. Alright, this week, let's begin with Facebook. Alright, real quick, before we actually get into questions, comments, and snide remarks, I forgot when I originally shot the questions, comments, and snide remarks section. Jesse Squibb posted on my Facebook post, and I just didn't see it. It didn't turn up or whatever, Facebook, you know. So anyway, it's Wednesday, it's after work, and before I cut together the video, I'm gonna put this in. Jesse says, so from my understanding, in order to be an apprentice gunsmith, you need experience in some sort of manufacturing, or at least to some extent understand how to use a CNC or lathe. I will ask the few people I know that do that and get back to you. Are you going to be back in Spokane or on the west side? So as of now, I'm not decided whether I'm going to be back in Spokane or on the west side. It depends on where the opportunities are. So far, it's looking more on west side, but we'll see. Anyway, yes, at some point during my apprenticeship, I will have to learn CNC, lathe, some kind of metal fabrication techniques. Fortunately, that's why we have community colleges in America. I can take a class from there for a couple $100, and over the course of 8 to 12 weeks, I get the knowledge that I need in order to fabricable whatever I want, really. So, but in order to get started, previous experience is not necessarily required, but it is super useful if you have it. I don't have it, so I'm going to have to learn it sometime along the way. But I am going to learn it. That is the thing. I do want to make parts out of raw materials, raw steel, drill rod, high strength, whatever. Jesse, it's so great to see that you are doing well and that you've commented on my video that you've been watching. I hope you're doing as well as I think you are, and good luck, brother. Aunt Roberta, she says, love seeing your videos. Glad you're coming home, but who knows what the next 8 months will bring. What an incredible adventure and experience. Can't help you with the gunsmith thing. What triggered that aspiration other than your love of shooting? LOL. Thanks, Aunt Roberta. It will be nice to be back home. As for what triggered my puns, by the way. As for what triggered my desire to go into gunsmithing, it's kind of been something I've been thinking about since I got onto a YouTube channel called Forgotten Weapons, actually. If you haven't checked out Forgotten Weapons already, I highly recommend it. I'll put a link in my description to Ian's channel over there. And what he does is he takes a gun every week or once or twice a week. He takes a different gun and he points out its historical significance. Now they're mostly military pattern firearms, and he takes them apart in some cases, and also he can shoot them. And some of them are really interesting in just how they operate. You know, the lock times, the operating systems, you know, if it's gas operated, if it's a gas trap system like some of the old M1 Garands were. Anyway, if you want to learn a lot more about firearms and how they work, I suggest checking out Ian at Forgotten Weapons. Aunt Julie says, always good to hear your updates. Keeping an open mind and open heart to God's will is vital. This experience has been great and most likely life-changing for you. Are guns legal in Japan? just curious. Staying a couple steps ahead and doing research on that next step is always a good idea. Enjoy your time there and continue to keep us posted. So, thanks Aunt Julie. The channel is not going anywhere, so I will continue to keep everyone updated. About guns being legal here in Japan. They are legal. It's more of a hassle to have a gun than it's not. In America, we're so used to just being able to go out to a Walmart and buy a rifle, on the spot, and we take it home with us that day in most states. Check your local laws. Here in Japan, the laws are a little different. So, most guns in Japan are shotguns. It's just the nature of the game. They're shotguns because most people are hunting birds, like crows, and for even large game, they're shotguns with half-rifled barrels. Now they're half-rifled because under Japanese law then it's not considered a rifle? I don't know. Anyway, if you want a rifle, you have to have a shotgun and have been actively hunting for like the last 5 years or so, and then pass a certain test. And you have to pass a test to be hunting anyway. You have to pass a certain test, and then you can buy a rifle. But regardless of what firearm you're owning, and pistols are pretty much a no-go here, regardless of what firearm though, the firing pin and the ammunition must be kept separate from the gun and locked up in a separate container. The gun itself must be locked in a secure location, so not in an apartment here. Anyway, that's kind of a brief overview of gun laws in Japan. Of course, there are ways to get firearms into Japan that are far less than legal that I cannot recommend. But if you'd like to do some more research on the topic, I strongly encourage you to do it. Learning about other countries' gun laws will help you realize just how amazing America really is. Cousin Russ Sig says, Sawyer, remember day by day, my cuz. The Lord directs our paths and usually gives us blessings that are far beyond what we can dream up ourselves. I know exciting things are coming for you. God bless. Thanks, Cousin Russ. I am so glad that I was able to go on this adventure and that I was able to have this opportunity. I guess from the last video, the State of the Right address, it kind of sounded like, I sort of regretted what I did. And there are times when I did. I'm going to be honest with you. There were times when it was really tough. You can talk to my mom, or I've been talking to my pastor and, just sharing with him the difficulties of living here. And it has been rough. But I have seen blessings while I've been here. The people I've met, the skills that I've learned in my job, and the lessons in life that I've learned from people in my church like Matsushita and other pastors have been tremendous. Every week I like to go to church like an hour and a half or 2 hours early, just so I can talk to Matsushita and sort of share my ideas about, American exceptionalism, because we are truly an exceptional country. Share my ideas about American exceptionalism and conservatism and Christianity, and we share ideas about theology, even though there's a slight language barrier, but it's great. And the things I've learned from talking with him, and the things he's also learned from talking with me, are just irreplaceable. I think that relationship alone is worth coming to Japan. For the YouTube comments, I have 2 comments, both from Mom. She says, okay, I caught myself squinting, power of suggestion. If you missed the last video, go check it out. You'll see why she was squinting. And she also says, so far, what do you think has been your biggest biggest change agent so far? And how has it changed you? I'd say there are 2 major change agents on this ride. And one is living independently by my own means. Over here in Japan, I am pretty much on my own for all of my needs. If I need to get something, I've got to go find a place to get it, and then I've got to go buy it with my own money. And that's been, not that I haven't had to work with my own money before, but now I'm making money on a regular basis. And I have to judge what expenses are worth it, what expenses aren't, it's turned out to be easier than I thought because I just don't spend as much money as I thought I did anyway. And the other real major change agent has been getting connected with the church here in Japan and really looking at Christianity across the world. So like I said before, I go to church an hour or 2 hours before service actually starts in the evenings just to talk with Matsushita and, check up on our lives. We've really built a good friendship, and I think that's been a huge agent for change in my life. So much knowledge has been shared between us. And alright, that does it for this week's questions, comments, and standard remarks, as well as this week's weekly update. If you'd like to be featured in next week's episode, you can leave a comment down below in the Facebook or YouTube posts. And of course, you can always like the video on YouTube and subscribe on YouTube to keep up to date regularly with all my releases. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time for more amazing content at subpar production value. Thank you so much. Bye.